Hello, and Egypt again. It's been a week, we've had a change of regime, street parties, and the army in control. So the question is, will the army give it up?
Power is corrupting it. It's a fact. If you have a large amount of power, then it is corrupting it. But armies are always powerful things, no matter what. And they're not political. Most armies aren't political. So the question is to see...
Well, ours is.
That's true. But I think when the time comes, then there will be a new government formed, and we will, there won't be any military control over Egypt.
But is a new government good? Do we get another
the question is whether we end up with,
Iran Mark II.
Or Sharia law, or something like that. That's the problem. I mean, keeping the treaties of Israel is very important, but also, preserving women's rights and that kind of thing. It's something that we don't see that much, that often in the Middle East, and we need to make sure that it doesn't turn into sort of Sharia law state.
I mean, for all Mubarak did wrong, they were at the forefront of rights, and
it's true.
There were, some rights for women. There were lots and lots of things that lots of other Middle Eastern countries just don't have, and so I guess if we can keep that, then the regime change is definitely for the better.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's nice to see some people power once in a while.
It's true, yeah.
Stand out there for 18 days, they get what they want. I mean, it's such a shame it doesn't work like that over here.
Well, this next story is quite an odd one. It's all about fat people and parking fines.
So, in London alone, £50 million or thereabouts is owed by foreign diplomats.
Moreover, 4.9 million is owed by the USA.
They don't seem to know what parking is, do they?
4.9 million pounds in unpaid parking fines. And what's more interesting is, in a time of very savage cutbacks in, it's going to affect everyone, yet the government doesn't bother to pick up, chase up the bill for £50 million worth of parking fines. It's just ridiculous.
That's probably one night out for the MPs, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Or 2 weeks their expenses.
Oh, yeah, or one banker's bonus.
Or 3 flipped homes. What's it to them? I mean, it might pay for several libraries for us, a few swimming pools here or there.
If you put it in education,
a decent bit of a new school, but nah.
New operating theatre to the NHS, anything like that.
But no. Foreign diplomats, parking fines.
Ridiculous.
A few days ago, 2 hikers went on trial in Iran, allegedly for spying against the state.
Well, I think that's just a textbook example, shall we say, of Iran's justice system. Stone women, so they must be right.
Yeah, I mean, we can hardly question what they do.
I'm sure, obviously, the justice system in Iran has a sort of direct phone line to God, and they can work out exactly what's correct. Because obviously adultery is a very serious crime, and people must be killed for it.
On a serious note, though, it is not right.
Yeah.
But still, stoning's one to death.
Well, now the question is will they do what they did to that Dutch woman?
I don't know. It wouldn't be surprising, but America's big. It likes oil. It likes weapons. So I think they'd be a bit trigger happy if their people got bumped off like the Dutch lady did.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, what happened there was she said there was going to be a new trial.
Fair trial.
Yeah, and 2 days
like
later,
all other fair trials that Iran
to Iranian
has.
law, anyway. But yeah, maybe the UN should impose sanctions if there isn't fair trial, because obviously it's a violation of human rights, isn't it?
It's imposed sanctions, but Iran's got oil and the West wants oil, so...
It's true, yeah.
I don't know what you can do.
A few days ago, there was a debate in the House of Commons over whether prisoners should get the vote.
They said no.
But the question is, obviously there's a human right in a democratic country to have the right to vote, so maybe they can be sued by the European Court of Human Rights. But that's not the main issue. The main issue is it morally right to deny prisoners their human rights?
Well, you say it's a human right, but should it not be a privilege? Because, as they say, if you break the law, you shouldn't make the law. That's
true. But someone could have a very short sentence, could have a 2-week sentence. During that 2 weeks, the general election, then they won't be able to vote for the next 5 years. I mean, that's not just not fair. And
it's dead simple. Don't break the law. You don't break the law, you don't go to jail.
But on that argument, you could say, well, we deny them their human rights. So if you're a prisoner, then you shouldn't be able to eat, or you shouldn't be able to do this, because, you break the law, so you should face the consequences. So it is a human right like any other human right.
No, because we've got to decide as a country what's decent. You have to give people food, you have to give people shelter, because that's morally right. What the European Court of Human Rights, or whatever they call themselves, says is a human right, is different. Should prisoners really be allowed to vote? Is that a fundamental right, or is that a privilege?
Okay, but say people, someone's made a mistake, but that they still, it must be unfair for them not to have any
that's
influence.
not. The number of people that have committed crime and aren't in jail is huge. The number of crimes you can commit and not go to jail is still huge. So if you're in jail, you've done some really nasty stuff.
Oh, well, yeah. But something like crime like burglary, if you're addicted to a substance, like, heroin or something like that, you need to pay for your addiction. You can argue with that, you'd go to prison for that. Doesn't mean you shouldn't...
If you're addicted to heroin, you're not fit to vote.
Okay, so our next topic is about Jim Devine, who is an MP who was charged for, what's it called? Fraud,
something like that.
For his expenses.
False accounting, I think.
Yeah, as we all know about, the expenses scandal with the MPs as it's become to known. And so what do you think about the trial?
I don't know. I mean, he's embezzled public money. He should go to prison.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
True.
But you wonder, is he the scapegoat?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's done it. For all we know, David Cameron did it at one point.
There are huge amounts of MPs that, fraud their expenses, so why is only one on trial? I'd like to see everyone who is, the duck house and the cleaning the moat and all that lot.
Well, there's 3 of them in prison now, or going to prison, but hundreds of them did it, and I kind of think it's unfair that, they pay it back and that makes it okay. I mean, if we cheated on our tax returns, and you paid it back, no one's going to
say,
that's fine, you can just walk away now, and we won't say anything.
Well, the risk of being too much of a sort of conspiracy theorist, it does show the difference between the elite and the peasants.
I don't know, you say the elite, but I don't know, it's the politicians in their group. They make the law, they keep themselves on the right side of it, whatever they do.
Yeah, okay, but like you said about your tax return, people on benefits, if they're to full benefits, not only are they, if they pay them back, they're not going to say, it's okay, you paid them back. Of course, it's morally wrong to, this is public money, this is taxpayers' money that should be spent on, roads, on NHS, on things like that, keeping public services afloat. But instead, it's being spent on cleaning people's moats.
Not that the MPs care.
No, well, that's the point.
They don't use public roads. They have their own private little motorways going everywhere they want to go.
Or a helicopter. Take them to the house.
Call the road builders. Hey, can we build a new motorway just so I can go shopping? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be... And they don't care. It costs 60
billion.
Of course, billions.
But, if as a normal citizen you were to cheat a benefit system, then you'd be facing a prison sentence. And so I think anyone, and there should be no different for MP, anyone who cheats, especially, more importantly, with public money, should really be facing the consequences.
Yeah, I mean, they've had the trust of the people who have voted for them.
Yeah. And also, people who have cheated the benefit or the tax system, most of them are going to be in a bad situation. But most of the MPs, we're talking about, a lot of them have got huge estates, they're very, very rich people, so they're not in a bad situation. It's just greed that they claim for a second house or clean their moat with bloody, our money. It's outrageous. Okay, so our final topic is actually about a dog owner in Brighton, and he let his Westland Terrier, I think it was, skateboard down the pavement on a skateboard, and he was given an ASBO.
Well, I mean, it's stupid, but in this day and age, you don't expect any different. It's the law applied to the letter with no moral sense.
Exactly. I mean, it's typical, Jobsworth, Little Hitler sort of PCSO attitude. Oh, well, look, I have the ability to give someone, an ASBO, so I will do. It's just absolutely pathetic.
I don't know. I think it's that the law's been written and people will follow it to the letter and the full stop and the comma if they need to. And they'll just... It's there, so they'll do it. It doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong or stupid. Yeah. So, people that technically haven't broken the law by, this capital T, or, people that have because they haven't dotted their I's. It's stupid, but it happens.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I go out with my megaphone. I don't know if you've seen my other videos. It's on my other channel, but I'll leave that away. But the amount of times I've been told by PCSOs and by other council workers that it's a breach of the peace, which actually it isn't, as I've done a lot of research into it. It's absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, it is just a prime example of power being abused. If you have power, abuse your power. So we leave you on the note that if you have a dog in Brighton that likes skateboarding, keep it indoors.
Because they're out to get you. Ying.
Well, you know, it's Iran, so they must be right. They stone women. Oh god, no, that's...
Spying. We should use this room next week.
Yeah. That's right, you're not filming, are you?